Super Saiyan 4 is one of the most perplexing transformations in all of Dragon Ball. On one hand, you have a transformation that single-handedly put GT on the map, cause let's be real, that show is absolute diarrhea without Super Saiyan 4. But on the other hand, it's got about as many problems as a lesbian couple. But to define the problems of this weird relationship with Super Saiyan 4, we need to set some terms. For one, build-up. This is basically the background information, the legend, the pure logic and reasoning, and the Tinder profile. It's the anticipation and hype buildup around what is to come. Secondly is training. We all know that we gotta go on a gym arc or two before being qualified to enter a relationship, transformation. There's levels to this. You can't just be handed a transformation like some hand-me-down pants, cause it wouldn't really be all that special, now would it? You need the fresh, straight from Piccolo's clothes being fit to really set you straight. And maybe some character development just to top it all off. Speaking of character development, that is the third thing we need. Transformations are often the mark of a character reaching a monumental point in their character arc, or hitting 225 on bench. So as a result, the transformation ends up changing them, at least temporarily, as a person. This gives more weight to the transformation because it gives the sense that the character is a cool, nonchalant dreadhead. Super Saiyan 3 is probably the easiest example to point to in this one because it's explained time and time again that the transformation is strenuous. But you could probably tell that anyway just by the way that Goku's voice is under more stress. But regardless, it is still cool, it is still unique, and no matter how useless it may be, the aura farming will never cease. Speaking of aura farming, come on, a transformation cannot truly be cool unless you have some fun with it. Bitch slap the opponent a few times, pull a Vegeta, but most importantly, do not immediately get cooked afterward and look like an idiot, like Vegeta. It makes the transformation look dumb. It makes you look dumb, because now the entire design of the transformation will be associated with whatever first impression you gave it. And you have probably guessed the last element to the terms of this relationship, and that is the design. The design of the transformation is truly the cherry on top. What people will remember the most about the transformation. Transformations like Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan 4 have some of the best designs because they not only look great, but they're also super unique. Now that we've established the ground rules, let us go over some of the transformations in Dragon Ball to really understand what it means to have a proper transformation. Starting with the original Super Saiyan, this form is the myth, the legend, and honestly probably one of the best build-ups. What Loki started as a weekly schizophrenic episode for Vegeta started to have some weight and credibility when we learned that Super Saiyans weren't just a legend, but the very reason Frieza was scared of the Saiyans in the first place. But nobody actually knows what a Super Saiyan is, so we're basically sent on this wild goose chase. Is Kakarot a Super Saiyan? He's a Super Saiyan! Wait, never mind. He's a soft little bitch. They jumping me! They jumping me! Is the Brat a Super Saiyan? He's a Super Saiyan! Oh wait, never mind. Maybe somebody should call CPS. Is the Bald Man a Super Saiyan? He's a Oh wait, he's running like a bitch. Am I a Super Saiyan? I'm a Super... fuck you. You fucking damn, maybe even the legendary Super Saiyan isn't enough to defeat Free. Wait, Kakarot? No way. Are you a super? Damn. Well, anyway, Goku pulls Super Saiyan out of his ass after his cue ball friend blew up. And Super Saiyan really did have most of it. It had the build-up, it had the legend, the aura, the design. The only thing it really lacked was the training. Because Goku basically got a Zenkai boost from a power level of about 90,000 to a few million after getting his ass beat once. Vegeta could only have a wet dream thinking about getting a Zenkai boost that big. Sucks to suck your receding hairline fuck. Super Saiyan 2, the Gochan Special. Now this one is pretty unique, because the regular Super Saiyan just ain't cut it anymore. It's out now. Forever 21 says that we need a new logo. Sorry Piccolo, it ain't you. Maybe one day McGlory's king. But just going from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 isn't exactly a straightforward task, because no one knew how to do it. So what happened instead is we got a few Super Saiyan grades. We got Super Saiyan Grade 2, Super Saiyan Grade 3, and Super Saiyan Grade 4. But none of these transformations are really all that special, and nobody really cares about them anymore. But what we really care about is this 11-year-old getting so pissed at Nintendo's pricing that he finally releases his anger by beating a robotic 6-year-old orphan. Because you see, since day one, Goku has had this hidden ability of tryharding. When he gets really fucking pissed, no matter what game he plays, he suddenly becomes an absolute beast at it. He can single-handedly beat Uncle Raditz at Mario Kart, beat Vegeta at poker, or beat Frieza at Battleship. But now he must face his greatest challenge yet, Uno. But he's not taking on this challenge without some pre-qualifications, because you see, Gohan has already achieved Super Saiyan before getting his Rage Tryhard boost. So who knows what will happen if he gets that Rage boost again, well in the Super Saiyan state. Well, that is Super Saiyan 2. And let's be real, nobody can deny that Super Saiyan 2 didn't basically have everything. The one thing I will say that it does fall flat with is the design. Because with the exception of Gohan, everyone else who achieves Super Saiyan 2 at most gets a strand of hair slightly raised higher. And that's literally it. The distinction between Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 is so little that Akira Toriyama even forgot about it. And though it's still useful to this day, it just doesn't hold a candle for aura nearly as much as some of the other transformations. Speaking of aura, Super Saiyan 3 is the total opposite of Super Saiyan 2. Literally, Goku shat out this transformation as hard as he possibly could to grow his hair even longer than Raditz. On top of that, there wasn't really any on-screen training or build-up. He was just kind of busy going up an entire 2 transformations in the 7 years he was gone in the other world. And look, I'm not saying it's unrealistic, but it doesn't give much weight to the transformation. It's just kinda, oh yeah, Goku has Super Saiyan 3 by the way, he just didn't want to bust it out yet. He didn't want to hurt Vegeta's feelings. He would much rather sacrifice his entire family than make Vegeta angry, which he already does anyway, so it's completely pointless. But the one thing that Super Saiyan 3 does have is aura. This transformation may not win that many fights. It may not be super useful, but my god, is it cool to look at. This transformation single-handedly increased the budget for Dragon Ball Super in the Tournament of Power. Never have I ever seen a transformation which should be so objectively bad based on the stats be so cool, even despite Goku literally shaving his eyebrows like lesbian misbegotten. Super Saiyan God pretty much has everything except for the training. The ritual is sick, the design is sick, the legend is sick, and it introduces an entirely new energy type which would forever change the direction of power in Dragon Ball. Not to mention the God binding technique, which I also believe is unique to the form. Super Saiyan Blue, however, is what I can only describe as literal hair dye. Because despite being a solid transformation in itself, it was just achieved way too quickly. A single arc after another transformation was already achieved is just ridiculous. Especially when you consider the fact that Super Saiyan Blue was used primarily throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball Super. In life, there is this thing called balance. For every white, there's a black. And for every blue, there is a red. But when one takes over the other, it becomes oversaturated. And that is Super Saiyan Blue. Actually, that is quite literally Super Saiyan Blue evolution. It's literally Super Saiyan Blue with higher saturation. God dang it, Vegeta, you never learn. And finally, Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct was teased upon ever since episode 5 in Dragon Ball Super, and briefly touched up upon by the totally not bisexual Angel. So when it is eventually revealed hundreds of episodes later that Ultra Instinct is indeed a thing, it is absolutely magnificent. Ultra Instinct really does have it all. It has the lore buildup. It has the training since day one. It has a character shift in their personality as a monumental milestone. I mean, for God's sake, it's the entire form. It has aura. Its design is fucking fantastic. And Vegeta is nowhere near it! Ultra Instinct on paper is one of the greatest transformations in all of Dragon Ball, and I am willing to die on that hill. Not a single time when Ultra Instinct was on screen did it not absolutely violate? And finally, with all that criteria set into place, where does that leave my furry friend, Super Saiyan 4? Well, let's just be honest. We're all friends here, right? Super Saiyan 4 has no lore buildup. It has no serious training. And it has no maidens. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's not that bad. Super Saiyan 3 had the exact same thing, and you called it one of the coolest transformations of all time. And sure, that is correct, my Padawan. However, Super Saiyan 4 has one thing that Super Saiyan 3 does not. And that is not just figuratively getting pulled out of Goku's ass, but quite literally! The training for Super Saiyan 4 has got to be one of the most bum-ass, no pun intended, excuses for a transformation I have ever seen. You can at least justify Super Saiyan 3 having training from the other world for 7 years, but Super Saiyan 4 being pulled out of Goku's ass cheeks literally has no excuse to be this dumb. It is so dumb, in fact, that when you think about the origins of this form, it has about as much weight as this fucking fold-up chair. Oh, but surely when they introduce Super Saiyan 4 and Daima, it's better, right? I mean, for the love of God, we have about 30 years to learn the lesson about how to make Super Saiyan 4 a better transformation. Well, I hate to disappoint you, but that is not correct. In fact, it is arguably worse in Daima, because Goku doesn't even need to get a tail pulled out of his ass in order to unlock Super Saiyan 4. No, let's just summon Herb the Perv over here to touch Goku with his magical fairy princess ass abilities to just hand him Super Saiyan 4 on a silver platter. And then Goku has the audacity to say that he could have transformed into this the whole time. Bitch, stop your capping! You know damn well you ain't have that transformation until now. Why is this literally exactly like Super Saiyan 3 but worse? Daima Super Saiyan 4 had no lore buildup. It had no training. It had no character shift in their personality, unless you count the monkey run, but the aura and design are alright. It's not as good as the original GT transformation, it's just fine. He did have a pretty swaggy 2 minutes with it though. Going back to GT, I would like to note that Goku does actually have a personality shift and aura. Occasionally. Because the fights usually start with Goku being cocky, rocking his opponents initially, and then kinda getting himself cooked. I wonder who that sounds like. In fact, I'm pretty sure his win ratio is better with Kid Goku than Super Saiyan 4. How does that make any sense? And don't worry, in case you couldn't find any tell signs of when Super Saiyan 4 is getting cooked, I found a couple of obvious ones for the sake of this video. The first sign is the red Kamehameha. Now, this is honestly a shame, because this is one of the coolest additions to Super Saiyan 4, redesigning the Kamehameha to make it a different color. Yet every single time I've seen Goku use this, it has always backfired. He never finishes off enemies, it gets used against him, and most importantly, he's even used it to make his opponents stronger. And don't worry, I will talk about that later. Number 2 is the starfish pose. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if the animators at the studio had an inside joke, but every single time Super Saiyan 4 Goku is getting cooked, he is always hitting this stupid starfish pose. His fight with Super 17, despite only having a single win in Super Saiyan 4 up to this point, he goes into the fight cocky as all hell. And at first, it's somewhat reasonable, because he is far stronger than Super 17 at the start of this. Notice how I said at the start of this? Yeah, that's because the one strength Super 17 has over Goku is his ability to absorb energy directly from blasts. And this very ability coming into existence becomes Goku's one-way ticket to spamming the fucking B button! I have never, ever seen Goku use this many energy blasts in one fight! In fact, there's only one person who commonly uses this technique who usually gets cooked all the time, but I can't quite put my finger on it. He refuses to do anything else. By the time this absolute dunce figures out that Super 17 is taking all his energy.
So that's it, huh? You've been feeding off all of my attacks, just like your old counterpart.
Yeah! You fucking He continues to do the exact same thing. Oh my god. What the actual hell is wrong with you? I have never ever seen you do anything this goddamn stupid before. And he did it again. Oh my god. What the actual hell is wrong with you? Is this man lobotomized? Oh, he also hits the starfish pose. Not just one, not two, not three, but 4 separate times in this fight. The Femboy Park Ranger strikes again. Not to mention, he also uses the red Kamehameha against Super 17. So if there's any indication you needed of Super Saiyan 4 getting absolutely rocked, this is it right here. Look, the real reason Super Saiyan 4 was cool in the first place was because nobody, and I mean nobody, liked Kid Goku. Nobody liked him in Daima, and nobody liked him in GT. It's just dumb. Why do we keep doing this? It has been damn near 30 years since we made this mistake last. Why have we not learned our lesson? He only beat Baby after getting rocked. He only beat Aishenron after getting rocked. He only beat that fucking pig after getting rocked. But everybody else, he lost to in Super Saiyan 4. And it all comes down to his fucking hubris. Because one thing that he had in common with all these opponents is that he was far stronger than all of them. But time and time again, Super Saiyan 4 Goku lets them get the upper hand. Because Goku has something in his blood which causes him to be an absolute dumbass. Okay, but let's take this video down a different, more positive direction. The design of Super Saiyan 4. It is spectacular. Just the fact that Super Saiyan 4 has black hair, furry eyeliner, a different eye color, a furry Ozaru aesthetic, and a completely different facial structure, and still manages to be one of the greatest design transformations in all of Dragon Ball is honestly super impressive. Despite it being probably one of the most unique transformations in all of Dragon Ball, it is absolutely one of the best. I also love the concept behind Super Saiyan 4. Sure, the ass-pulling tail from Goku was pretty whack, but the fact that Saiyans have greater potential for power because of their tail really just goes to show how much of a mistake it was to cut it off in the first place. Initially, we only see the tail as a transformation into some uncontrollable monkey who can't use jujitsu, or as a weakness if not trained properly. So just the fact that we got a transformation dedicated to taking control over the Ozaru form in a Super Saiyan state to compress that power into Super Saiyan 4 is just so fucking cool. Maybe the reality is, along the way they realized they must return to monkey. The key is in their tail, except for Vegeta, who got a Bluetooth tail from Flutsways. I give up. Also, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is easily the worst state Gogeta has ever been in. The amount of Vegito in his blood is absolutely overwhelming. Or maybe it's just Goku's inner hubris, specifically in Super Saiyan 4, coming to the surface to flex his hypebeast fit. I guess we'll never know for sure. But what we do know is that Super Saiyan 4 had great potential. Ever since it was introduced 30 years ago in GT, it was a monumental art piece. And that is simply all it remains to be. Because the series hasn't given it the love it deserves and has actually gone out of its way to dirty it more, Ultra Instinct still reigns as the greatest transformation of all time. So we need to reject Monkey and return to Godhood. Say that again.